Picture a stage filled with lights, the sound of cheering fans echoing like a hurricane, and a man standing in the middle, clad in a luxurious suit, a calm smile, and eyes that seem to hold the world. He's not just an artist. He's not just a member of a boy group. He's a symbol of elegance, gentleness, and emotional depth that no marketing strategy can replicate. He's Kim Taehyung, better known as V of BTS, a figure whose face often graces top fashion magazines, but whose heart resides in a world far quieter than that glitz. But behind that alluring gentleness lies a narrative that's rarely talked about. Behind the warm smiles and the waves at the camera, there's a hard, cold, calculated business reality. HYBE Corporation, the giant agency that raised BTS, has transformed into a powerful corporate entity. But like all power, there's the risk of losing the personal touch. So the question hangs in the air. Can a gentle face like V's shine in the shadow of a business machine as big as HYBE? Persona versus persona product. When humans are sold as brands. The K-pop industry has long danced on a fine line between art and commercialism. On one hand, we see artists as beings who exude creativity, emotion, and vulnerability. But on the other, they are also turned into products, branded, packaged, and sold in the form of campaigns, merchandise, or brand collaborations. Taehyung, with his unique aristocratic aura, is a perfect example of an artist who not only has natural charisma, but also high commercial value. It's no wonder that V's face often appears in campaigns for luxury brands like Celine, Cartier, and more. But behind all these collaborations, there is an undeniable concern. Does HYBE really prioritize V's personal expression? Or do they just see him as a visual icon who can be polished to suit the market? Soft, not weak, V's silent resistance. Unlike other members who may be more vocal or energetic, V chooses to speak through his work. Through his solo songs such as Scenery, Winter Bear, to the album Layover, we can feel a personal narrative that infiltrates gently but sharply. The lyrics are not bombastic, but reflective. The music is not crowded, but poignant. This is a form of resistance that is silent, but strong. In a world that idolizes engagement rates and trending topics, V chooses to touch souls with silence and honesty. He reminds us that a true artist does not have to shout to be heard. But herein lies the contradiction. Is the business system built by HYBE sensitive enough to pick up on such subtle cues? HYBE and the challenge of managing artists, not just brands. As a business entity, HYBE must of course run efficiently, measurably, and be results-oriented. But when they raise an artist as big as V, they are also holding a greater responsibility, maintaining artistic integrity. And this is the true test. Can they distinguish between utilizing potential and exploiting personality? Not a few fans have begun to question the direction of V's solo career. Why does his music release feel like it has been held up for so long? Why is his personal projects less aggressively promoted than other artists? And why in some moments does V seem to have to fit in with the system, rather than the system supporting his vision? It's not just about schedules or projects, it's about voice, about the space to be yourself amidst structured strategies. Symbol of contrast. V, softness in a world that's too fast. Kim Taehyung isn't just BTS's visual, he's a living symbol of contrast. A soft face in a tough business, a poetic soul in a fast-paced industry. And because of that contrast, he's become a mirror for many young artists who are searching for their identity amidst the demands of the market. But how far can V maintain his softness when the system keeps forcing him to be masculine but marketable, emotional but controlled, artistic but marketable? It's a battle that's unseen, but it's happening every day. Behind the camera, in the recording room, behind the scenes of management meetings. Open ending. When strategy meets conscience, V's story isn't one of head-on collisions. He did not fight with anger, but with consistency. He showed that gentle does not mean weak, and that an artist can still be himself, even under the shadow of a big system like HYBE. Now, the question is no longer just whether HYBE can maximize V's potential, but whether they are willing to be a place where that potential can grow with honesty and freedom. Because if a gentle face like V starts to lose direction amidst a business strategy that is too loud, then perhaps what needs to be questioned is no longer the artist, but the system that is too busy building a kingdom, that it forgets to listen to the voices from within the palace itself. The silence that speaks. When V chooses to stay silent, the world asks questions. In the noisy entertainment world, where every artist's move must be reported, highlighted, and analyzed, the choice to remain silent often speaks louder than 1,000 words. Taehyung is a master of silence. He doesn't need to explode on social media or make confrontational statements. Instead, he chooses a quieter, more elegant way. And that's where his power lies. However, when an artist as refined as V starts to choose to stay silent more often, to appear more carefully in public, to be more selective in sharing, fans start to get restless. Not because they are hungry for content, but because they understand. V's silence is not ordinary silence. His silence is another language, a signal of something he may be fighting against, holding back. Is it because of internal pressure? Is it because he is redirecting himself amidst a storm of strategies and demands? Or is it because he has spoken too much and yet has not been heard? HYBE. Between corporate command and emotional responsibility. As the company continues to expand its wings, from acquiring foreign music companies, diversifying its artist portfolio, to building its own digital platform, HYBE seems to be pursuing a position as a global power. But in its ambitions, it faces a more subtle but important challenge: how to remain human when its scale grows too large. V's career cannot be treated like an asset to be simply managed and managed. He is not a set of demographic data or analytical graphs. He is an artist with layers of emotions, history, trauma, and hopes. And when artists like him signal a line between personal expression and corporate demands, HYBE must do more than just manage. They must become active listeners, balancing strategy and conscience. From fans to HYBE, it's not about romanticization. Many assume that fans' concerns about Taehyung are simply a form of romanticization of their idol. But what they don't realize is, today's fans are no longer blind. They are smart. They notice patterns. They see when their artists are losing their light, and they don't stand still. The concern for V isn't because he's a favorite, but because he represents a voice for many artists who may not have the power to speak up as much as BTS. When a face as soft as V struggles to maintain authenticity in a system as harsh as HYBE, it's a reflection of the struggles of many artists in the global entertainment industry. Freedom is a risk, but it's an investment. Giving Taehyung the space to truly be himself may feel risky from a business standpoint. Maybe his music won't chart in the mainstream. Maybe his aesthetic is too niche. But that's where the long-term investment comes in trust, in authenticity, and in the power of a genuine narrative. Fans don't fall in love with BTS because they're perfect. They fall in love because of their honesty, because of their struggle, because of the wounds wrapped in lyrics, not advertising. And V is the epitome of all that. He's a reminder that beauty doesn't have to be designed by algorithms. Conclusion. Between two worlds. HYBE stands on the border of two worlds. The one that shaped him into a global star, and the one he has created himself through music, photography, and personal expression. One world is built by HYBE's business strategy, the other by the sensitivity of his gentle, contemplative soul. The question now is, can these two worlds coexist? Or will one have to give way? Because if V's gentle face no longer has a place in the system he helped build from scratch, then perhaps it's time for HYBE to ask itself again. What is the meaning of success if those who brought it to the top are slowly losing themselves?